The galaxy was vast, filled with countless stars and endless empires. Among them lived races older than history itself, creatures that had ruled the stars long before humans had even discovered fire. These powers looked at Earth and saw nothing more than a fragile world. A small blue planet at the edge of a forgotten arm of the galaxy. Weak. Divided. Harmless. For centuries, the galaxy ignored humanity. Wars raged between alien empires. Planets were destroyed, fleets vanished into the void, but Earth was always left alone. Why bother with such a young species? Why waste time on creatures that barely knew how to reach their own moon? But things changed the day the Zayrath arrived. The Zayrath were not explorers. They were not traders. They were conquerors. For thousands of years, they had carved their way through star systems, enslaving weaker races, burning cities, and turning worlds into ashes. Their fleets were endless, their weapons feared across the stars. And now, they had found Earth. To the Zayrath, humanity was nothing but prey. They did not come to negotiate. They came to crush. The attack was sudden. One morning, the skies over Earth filled with shadows. Huge ships blocked the sunlight. Their weapons unleashed firestorms that scorched entire cities in seconds. Towers of steel fell. Oceans boiled under orbital bombardments. In the first week, millions died. The aliens expected humanity to surrender quickly. Other races had begged for mercy after only days of Zayrath fire. The Zayrath believed humans would be the same, if not weaker. But humanity was not the same. The nations of Earth did not surrender. They fought back. Fighter jets, missiles, ground forces, all thrown at the enemy. But human weapons were too primitive, too small. Against the Zayrath fleet, Earth's defenses broke one by one. Cities burned. Skies were black with smoke. The Zayrath laughed at the stubbornness of humans. Then something strange happened. Something no other race had ever done under Zayrath attack. Earth went silent. No more broadcasts, no signals to space, no cries for help. For months, the planet said nothing. It was as if Earth had been crushed into dust. The galaxy believed humanity was gone. A fragile race destroyed, forgotten like so many before them. The Zayrath prepared to leave, thinking their victory complete. But deep under the ruins of their cities, humanity was not finished. In bunkers hidden beneath mountains, in secret stations orbiting the dark side of the moon, in underground labs buried miles below the surface, humanity was moving. Nations that once fought each other now stood side by side. Old enemies became allies. Flags were lowered, and a single banner was raised, humanity first. The silence was not death. The silence was preparation. 6 long months passed. The galaxy forgot about Earth. The Zayrath moved on to new wars, new conquests. The ashes of Earth smoldered, quiet, lifeless, or so it seemed. Then, one night, a signal broke through the void. It was not weak. It was not desperate. It was strong, sharp, and terrifying in its simplicity. Across star systems, across listening posts, across enemy ships, a human voice spoke. Cold. Steady. Without fear. This is Earth's final message. You started this war. Now humanity will end it. The words echoed through the void like thunder. The Zayrath warlords paused. For the first time in centuries, they hesitated. The humans were supposed to be gone. Their cities destroyed. Their people broken. Yet here was a message, calm and certain. Not a plea for peace. Not a cry for survival. A warning. And warnings from prey were dangerous. The galaxy turned its eyes back to Earth. Something was happening on that small blue planet. Something no one had expected. The silence was over. The storm was about to begin. The Zayrath believed Earth was broken. They thought humanity was just a scarred memory, scattered ashes on a ruined world. In their eyes, the silence of Earth was proof of defeat. But what they could not see was what truly lived under that silence. Humanity was not dead. Humanity was preparing. In the first days after the invasion, the nations of Earth did what no alien had ever expected. They united. Old rivals, bitter enemies, even nations that once swore never to stand together, dropped their grudges. Borders no longer mattered. Languages no longer divided. The fight was no longer about countries. It was about survival. For the first time in human history, there was no America, no China, no Russia, no Europe. There was only Earth. One world. One people. One mission. Fight back. The Zayrath thought their bombardments had destroyed human strength. But under the ground, under the oceans, even on the far side of the moon, secret bases came alive. Engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked side by side. Billions of hands built weapons faster than ever before. Factories turned night into day, creating machines of war never seen before in human history. The aliens had destroyed cities, but they had given humanity something greater, unity. And with unity came invention. Human scientists studied the wreckage of fallen Zayrath ships. They broke apart alien weapons, studied their engines, decoded their targeting systems. Every broken piece was a lesson. Every enemy weapon became a teacher. Humans learned fast, faster than the aliens thought possible. Where aliens relied on old traditions of war, humans relied on something else, imagination. They did not copy. They improved. Stealth ships were designed, covered in new alloys that bent light and heat. No radar could find them. No scanner could trace them. They moved like shadows in space. AI-controlled drones were built, small but deadly. They did not need sleep. They did not need rest. They swarmed in thousands, moving with one mind, attacking with perfect coordination. And then there were the plasma cannons, powerful enough to melt through Zayrath armor in seconds. Mounted on warships built in secret, they burned with the fury of Earth's sun. But technology alone was not enough. Humanity had something else the galaxy could never understand. Their will. Each human soldier was ready to give everything. Each pilot knew that their life might be short, but their fight would carry the future of their species. Humans fought with something no alien could match, desperation mixed with hope. The Zayrath saw this as madness. They could not understand a species willing to die for each other. To them, war was power, conquest and fear. To humans, war was survival. The silence of Earth was ending. Rumors spread across the galaxy. Small alien traders whispered of human ships appearing in the shadows of asteroid belts. Entire Zayrath patrols were reported missing. Convoys never arrived. Their fleets vanished without trace. At first, the Zayrath laughed. They thought it was nothing but space pirates, or bad navigation, or accidents in hyperspace. But then, the pattern grew. The attacks were too precise, too sudden, too controlled. It was not chaos. It was strategy. And only one race had reason to strike so fiercely. The humans were back. The Zayrath command finally sent a fleet to Earth's orbit to confirm what was happening. Thousands of ships gathered, surrounding the blue planet once again. They expected fear. They expected begging. But what they saw was fire. From the shadows of space, the first human fleet emerged. Small compared to the Zayrath armada, yet faster, sharper, more alive. Human ships darted in and out of the battle like hunters, striking from unexpected angles, vanishing into darkness, and reappearing with deadly accuracy. The Zayrath fired with their massive cannons. But their blasts hit nothing but empty space. Human stealth ships slipped through their sights. Their drones tore apart alien fighters like insects. Plasma fire burned holes in Zayrath armor. For the first time in history, the Zayrath felt fear. The prey they thought they had destroyed was now the predator. And above the battle, through every comm system, through every channel, that same human voice returned. You thought we were weak. You thought we would kneel. You were wrong. Humanity fights. Humanity remembers. Humanity learns. The galaxy watched in silence. The Deathworlders had risen. And this was only the beginning. The galaxy could not believe what it was seeing. For thousands of years, the Zayrath had conquered without resistance. World after world had fallen to their fleets. Civilizations older and stronger than humanity had been erased in weeks. But now, for the first time in memory, the Zayrath were losing. And they were losing to a species no one had even considered important. At first, the defeats were small. Patrol ships disappearing near asteroid fields. Supply convoys vanishing into dark space. A few fleets scattered in distant systems. The Zayrath called it bad luck, or sabotage, or tricks from rival empires. But the truth was clear: the humans were striking back. And every month, their attacks grew bolder. Human fleets no longer hid near Earth alone. They launched raids across neighboring systems. They burned outposts, destroyed shipyards, and left the wreckage of Zayrath warships drifting in silence. Their tactics were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Zayrath fought with power. They believed in massive fleets, endless cannons, and overwhelming numbers. But humans fought with speed. They attacked where no one expected. They vanished before the enemy could respond. One Zayrath commander described it best. Fighting humans is like fighting shadows. By the time you see them, you are already dead. The Zayrath grew angry. Rage consumed their warlords. How could a young race defy them? How could prey fight like predators? They gathered their strength. From across their empire, fleets were called. Tens of thousands of ships, armed with the most powerful weapons in their arsenal, were sent to crush Earth once and for all. The galaxy held its breath. Many believed humanity would now be destroyed. No species could face such force. No one had ever survived the Zayrath at full power. But humanity was ready. The human fleet did not wait for the Zayrath to come. Instead, they moved first. They slipped into hyperspace and struck at the heart of the approaching armada. They did not meet them in open battle. They ambushed. In the dark between stars, humans unleashed weapons the galaxy had never seen. Swarms of AI drones swirled around Zayrath warships, attacking from all sides. Stealth frigates slipped behind enemy lines and tore through engines before vanishing again. Plasma cannons fired in bursts so powerful that whole Zayrath cruisers broke apart like paper in the wind. The Zayrath fired back with fury. They destroyed hundreds of human ships. But for every human ship that fell, 10 Zayrath ships were dragged down with it. This was the difference. The Zayrath fought to conquer. Humans fought to survive. And survival made them relentless. Even when a ship was crippled, human crews did not surrender. They rammed into enemy vessels, turning their own destruction into a weapon. Pilots flew into enemy hangars and detonated their crafts from inside. Soldiers fought until their last breath, buying time for others to strike. The galaxy watched in horror and awe. Never before had they seen a species fight with such fury. Other races whispered a new name for humans: the Deathworlders. Creatures born on a dangerous planet, shaped by storms, predators, hunger, and endless struggle. A race that turned pain into strength. For the first time in history, the Zayrath were afraid. The war turned against them. System by system, the humans pushed forward. Planets once ruled by Zayrath fell into human hands. Slave worlds were freed, their people cheering as human fleets arrived like storms of fire. The Zayrath warlords could not believe it. Their pride, their empire, their invincible fleets, all being broken by a race they had once mocked as weak. On the bridge of a captured Zayrath station, a human commander spoke to the galaxy in simple words. "You thought our silence meant defeat. But silence was our shield. While you celebrated, we prepared. While you hunted us, we studied you. And now it is your turn to be hunted." The words spread like fire. Across the stars, oppressed races raised their heads. Some began to secretly support humans. Others whispered of rebellion. The galaxy was changing. But the Zerath were not finished yet. Their empire was vast, their resources endless. Even as they bled, they gathered new armies. Entire shipyards burned to produce more fleets. Their warlords swore oaths of revenge. And they aimed all of their rage at one target, Earth. The final storm was coming. Humanity knew the war was far from over. But something had shifted forever. The galaxy no longer saw Earth as weak. The galaxy no longer saw humans as prey. They saw something new. A predator rising. The war had changed. What began as an invasion of a small blue planet had become a firestorm spreading across the galaxy. Humanity, once ignored, once mocked, now stood as the greatest threat the Zerath Empire had ever faced. But the Zerath were not finished. Their pride would not allow it. They gathered everything they had. Fleets from the far edges of their empire, weapons that had not been used in centuries, soldiers trained from birth for war, all were thrown into the fight. The sky of every Zerath world burned with preparation. The galaxy whispered, "This will be the end of humanity." But humans had no intention of ending. They had endured Earth's burning cities. They had endured silence and fear. They had endured the weight of an enemy that wanted them erased. And through it all, they had only grown stronger. When the Zerath gathered for their final strike, humanity did not wait behind their homeworld. They carried the war straight into the heart of the Empire. It began with the fall of the outer colonies. Human fleets swept through the borders, burning shipyards and outposts with brutal precision. Where Zerath warlords expected resistance, they found annihilation. Human stealth ships bypassed defenses, striking at command centers, cutting communication, leaving whole sectors blind. The freed slaves of the Zerath cheered. Some even rose against their masters, inspired by the Deathworlders who fought without fear. The galaxy had never seen such a chain reaction. Then came the great battle. Over the Zerath homeworld, the largest armada in their history gathered. Tens of thousands of ships filled the void, their weapons glowing like a sea of suns. They waited for humanity, ready to crush them once and for all. And humanity came. The sky lit up as human fleets emerged from hyperspace. Smaller, fewer, but faster and sharper. They did not line up for a traditional battle. They split apart like shards of glass, attacking from every angle at once. The void turned into chaos. Human drones swarmed like living storms, ripping apart Zerath fighters. Stealth frigates cut through capital ships, vanishing before the enemy could retaliate. Plasma fire ripped across the darkness, tearing holes through warships that had once been considered indestructible. The Zerath fired back with fury. Entire human squadrons were destroyed in seconds. Ships vanished in flames. But even in death, the humans struck back. Damaged vessels rammed into Zerath flagships, exploding inside their armor. Fighters with no fuel turned themselves into guided missiles. No life was wasted. Every sacrifice carved another wound into the Empire. On the ground below, the Zerath homeworld trembled as orbital strikes rained fire. Human soldiers landed, fighting in streets that had never known defeat. The warlords who once ruled with iron fists now fled in terror, their cities falling one by one. And then, the broadcast came again. Every Zerath channel, every comm signal, every frequency was suddenly filled with a human voice. Calm. Cold. Unstoppable. You started this war. You thought we were weak. You thought we would kneel. But now hear this. Humanity does not kneel. Humanity fights. Humanity wins. Across the galaxy, the message echoed. The image of burning Zerath ships filled the screens of 1,000 worlds. And for the first time, the conquerors had become the conquered. The Zerath homeworld fell within days. Their fleets shattered, their leaders captured or killed. What had taken them millennia to build had been destroyed by a species they had once mocked as fragile. The galaxy was stunned. Empires that had feared the Zerath for generations now looked toward Earth with new eyes. No longer weak. No longer prey. Humanity had proven itself not just as survivors, but as hunters. The Deathworlders had risen. But humanity did not claim victory with arrogance. They did not raise their banners to enslave. Instead, they sent a final message to every star system. We did not ask for this war, but you brought it to our world. And now it is finished. Let all remember this truth: humanity stands united. Humanity defends itself. If you come as enemies, you will fall. But if you come as allies, we will stand with you. Silence followed. A silence not of fear, but of respect. For the first time in galactic history, the Zayrath Empire was broken. And for the first time, the galaxy understood the price of underestimating Earth. The war was over. But the legend of humanity was only beginning. And in the quiet that followed the storm, one truth echoed across the stars. Humanity fights. Humanity wins.